Liftoff and the clock has started.
Go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to... Stop that.
Music stopped.
Music stopped. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, welcome tour. It's the...
Welcome tour?
Yes, welcome tour. The 4th of March, 2020. And the show has started on a Friday evening. Better start the clock.
Is my mic on?
Is your mic on?
Just checking, it was all the way over there, you see.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, sorry about that. No, it's not. Anything you say will be written down and used in evidence against me. Quite why that is. Anyway,
I was about to say what's new, but that is new.
What's new, pussycat?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Copyright strike. Right, so start how we mean to go off.
We were just caterwauling.
Cater what?
Caterwauling.
Oh, is that what they do?
Meow. Meow. Yeah.
Meow, meow, wow, wow, wow. What's new, pussycat? Meow,
Wow, wow,
wow, wow, wow.
Anyway,
Wow.
How are you, lovely Julia? End of the week?
Yes, very good, thank you. It's Friday.
Friday night, and all is great.
You're celebrating because your car passed the MOT.
Yay.
Way! For those of you who don't know what an MOT is, it's a motor of transport certification. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't know what it merely means. Somebody goes around with a spanner. I think it's the same as on the trains when they go around ringing the wheel tappers. They go around going ding, ding, ding. Is it a train? Yes, it's a train. Oh well, give him a motor of train certification, which is of course a MOT.
Motor train certification.
It might not be the truth.
Anyway.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome along. We have a theme tonight.
Ooh, what's that then?
Just for a laugh. What is the best meal you've ever cooked yourself? But also, what is the worst? The worst meal.
Worst and the best.
And the best. So I have, the audience may remember I cooked a pie.
Yes.
And I put far too much fat in the pie and it tasted absolutely disgusting. And the best meal I've ever cooked, I tell you the best meal I've ever cooked is a chicken and lemon meal I cooked for you once.
That was delicious. That was an amazing meal.
And I now think of it as my signature dish. I don't know what that means because I can't really sign my name with the gravy.
You could have a good try though.
Yeah, well, we didn't have any gravy. It was a creamy creamy sauce.
Yes.
So it's kind
You
of
had a
gravy.
big enough plate maybe, and it'd have to be a dark plate.
Yes, with white lightering.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just use it like a wooden kebab stick, just dip like a pen,
Nip,
a
nip,
quill
cosy.
and ink.
Oh yes, that's right. A chopstick could do it as well, but not a
It's
lipstick.
a bit wider than the.
Is it?
Anyway,
Good. What is yours? The best and the worst meals you've ever cooked, and how did you prepare it? What went wrong? Have you had any hideous mistakes? Did the kitchen catch fire? Did the fire brigade come?
brigade.
Yeah, the brigade.
Brigade.
Did they come? I would love to know. Don't forget, if you want to contact the show, don't forget to put the @ sign and then the Vobes Show, and we can read your message, because obviously there's hundreds of thousands of you out there, and if you're all typing all at once, we struggle,
me.
don't we? Did you have a yawn?
I sneezed.
Oh, did you? Bless you. Bless you, Father.
Dust.
Yep.
Did you dust your head or something?
Have I dust? Why have I got dust on my
I
head?
sneezed.
Oh, it's dandruff, you know. Can bald people get dandruff? There's a question
Well, it
for you.
depends if you have psoriasis or not, I suppose.
The psoriasis of the liver, of the head.
Of the skin.
Oh, of the skin. Oh, I see. What is there any other form of psoriasis?
I don't know.
Psoriasis of
I
the
know the
earlobe,
skin
psoriasis of the tooth. Sean James Cameron is talking to us. Says, I do a lovely corned beef pie and a rhubarb crumble cake. I'm coming back up to London, no matter how awful that journey was. I do like corned beef, but I'm wary now of the tinned corned beef.
Yes, because it's highly processed, isn't
Because
it?
it's highly processed, that's the trouble. But you've got to process it somehow to make it into corned beef, haven't you? We did find out why it was called corned beef, didn't we? But now I can't remember why it's called corned beef.
Something to do with
The corn.
the bits being corn-sized and shaped.
I can't remember. Somebody will remind us. Paul Carl Griffin says, best meal, when I was a butler, I cooked for a new client a delicious pesto risotto. He commented that it was, in fact, the best. Tell me, Paul Carl Griffin, what goes into that? How do you make a delicious pesto risotto? Pesto is, what's pesto made out of? I know you can get pesto at Tesco, but that's not what I meant to say.
I don't actually know.
I went once. There was a food fair in Shrewsbury, depending on how you want to say it, and we went in, and there's a bloke called Marcus. Oh, I can't remember. He was a famous TV cook. Marcus somebody or other. This is when I was seeing Harriet, and she was like, oh, it's Marcus so-and-so. Marcus. So I said, all right, calm down, woman. So we went and enrolled on this chef cooking thing, in a marquee at the Festival of Food in Shrewsbury. And Marcus came out and was handing out these sheets of the menus, and Harriet was just fawning at him, going, who, Marcus? Eyes batting away, ding, 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 like that. And I was going, yeah, all right, fair enough. So he can wield a meat cleaver. What's so good about that? And anyway, we made pesto. He taught us how to make pesto.
Did he turtle?
He didn't know. He didn't
Sauce.
turtle. I wish he had. He did terrapin quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we learned how to make this. And if I remember rightly, it's mashed potato, olive oil, and there was some green stuff in there.
Mint,
I can't remember what it was.
basil.
It might have been basil. It was some... Anyway, that made up that... no, we chopped something, and it was... Oh, wait, I'm getting confused.
You're modelling up, aren't you?
Yes, because we also did, because we did it twice. Harriet said, can we do another one? Can we do another one? So we did another one in which he taught us how to do... Oh. What are those things? It's an Italian thing. They're they're like egg-shaped things, but they're like pasta, but they're not pasta, but they've got potato in them. And...
It's not
gnocchi.
I was going to say, yeah.
Gnocchi.
I was going to say gnocchi.
Yes, it was good. So that's how
However
you
it's
made
pronounced.
the gnocchi. So I beg your pardon. The mashed potato was the gnocchi thing. I can't remember what the pesto. We chopped up something green, really fine.
Station Master's Choice says, isn't pesto made with basil?
Yes, I think it's right.
It is basil.
Yes, I think you're absolutely spot on, 100% right, correct. And give yourself a star and go to the top of the class and stop dilly-dallying. Get there now.
That's him told.
That's him told, yes. No one likes the smarty pants. The
Smarty pants.
the
Who likes the smarty pants, do
Nobody
they?
likes the smarty pants. The Kingstone 8 says, my bread pudding, which should look like dark treacle, turned out nice again, isn't it? Turned out white. It says white. I quite like the idea of that. What is it again? Bread pudding. My mum used to make bread and butter pudding. Did you ever have that?
Not as a child, but I used to prepare it and make it when I worked.
How would you make...
as a sweets chef.
Yes, oh, right, here we are. How's the professional way of making bread and butter pudding as a sweets chef?
To be honest, I can't remember. It was...
Because my mum used to get one of those awful Chorleywood loaves of, like, Mother's Pride. No disrespect, Mother's Pride, please don't sue us. That really cheap, nasty, horrible, white, thin, whatever it was that you would, I don't know, line a fish tank with. Oh, we've got a phone call. We're not quite ready for a phone call, but we've got one nonetheless, so we'll go and answer it. And just bear with me, caller, just bear with me. Anyway, my mum used to get the bread and butter, and she would slice this stuff. No, she wouldn't. She would butter the stuff and layer them like this. And then she would put milk into it and some sugar and brown sugar, I think, demerara sugar. Is that how you make it? I can't remember. Anyway, let's find out.
remember. It was all like pre-packed, and I just had to put things together.
Oh, I see. Well, my mother used to make this.
I was hardly a chef.
It was lovely, though. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Oh, very well, darling. Thank you
What,
very
what,
much.
what?
Is that old Alan Sandel?
It is, yes, sir.
Jolly
Less of
good.
the old.
Yeah, less of the old, yes.
But I thought I'd get in early because I've been missing you for about 2 weeks.
Well, you've been in hospital, haven't you?
Yes, I have, yes.
Yes, you're all right now.
Oh, it'll take a long time to get over this.
Oh, will it?
Yes, it was possible. Well, certainly there was a bacterial infection and possibly long COVID thrown in there as well. And
I mean, if you're going to have COVID, have a long one. That's what I always say.
Yes,
Don't
yes,
just have a short one. It's over and done with so quickly you didn't even know you had it. Much better to have a nice, fat, juicy, long one.
so my best dinner,
Yes.
which I cooked many times in Texas, was a roast quarter leg chicken with a skin on
Oh.
and the bone in.
And the bone in. Oh,
I thought you said, and the bunion.
and, yeah, a leg with a bunion.
Not so sure
No,
that sounds so
unlike
good.
No, suddenly lost his appetite now.
I mean, I've looked, but you can't get that particular cut of chicken.
Tell
I
me,
was going to say, I've never heard of a quarter
Every-
chicken leg.
everything in America is bigger than ours. Were their chickens bigger?
Oh yes, they could hardly stand up.
No,
So,
but it was,
they do
it
have
was
a big
fabulous
breed of chicken.
for one person. It was a fabulous.
So
cut.
a quarter of a leg. I mean, a chicken leg's
Well,
not terrible.
no, a leg and a quarter of the chicken
Oh, I see.
together.
Whose leg is it?
A quarter of a chicken, which includes part of the leg.
Oh, I
the,
see.
the leg.
Oh, I see. How many legs does a chicken have?
Well, two.
Two.
And then a wing and a wing
wing and a
breast
prayer.
Wing and a breast.
Yeah, but I mean, everywhere I look here, chicken doesn't have a skin.
Ooh, no, I don't. Do you like the skin of a chicken?
Oh God, yes. That's-
Lots of people
that's
don't.
what
I
a
know.
lovely
It makes
flavour.
my skin crawl.
I like it if it's crispy.
It's the flavour.
Is it?
It's the fat.
Yes.
That's what.
Flavour.
I mean, I know it's good for you and all of that, but it does make my skin crawl. It's just that sort of slippery, slidey
Oh no, I
stuff.
know what you mean. I can't stand it when it's like that. It has to be crispy. It has to be crispy.
Yes, well, it can be if you roast a
Exactly.
roast a bit. The only
I love
way
it,
I could
'cause
get, I think the only way here I could get a chicken with skin on it would be to buy a whole chicken, and that for one person, that's
That's a bit much, isn't it? Yeah.
Have you got a freezer? Can you freeze a chicken?
Um,
I mean, they might not like it. Obviously, you put them in a duffel coat or something, but they, you know.
That may have to be the route I go, but I have a very small freezer in a hall cupboard.
Yeah,
No
well, you don't
room,
want the chicken
there's no room.
squawking in the middle of the
Anyway,
night.
the worst meal,
Yes.
which you reminded me of, oh my lord,
Oh my lord!
was a not a cottage pie.
Shepherd's pie?
Cottage pie.
Shepherd's pie.
It's a shepherd's pie.
Yeah, shepherd's
I
pie.
tried
Shepherd's pie's
cooking.
with lamb, isn't it?
Yeah, I tried cooking a shepherd's pie with lamb mince, and a few years back, and I took one mouthful and chucked it in the bin.
What had gone wrong?
I don't know, but it tasted vile.
Was it? It was cooked.
Yes,
It
Yeah.
was in date.
Yeah.
it was cooked, but my lord, I never tasted anything so bad in my life.
Very strange.
Well, that's a shame. But now, because there's a difference between a shepherd's pie and a cottage pie. A shepherd's pie, as you just said, it was lamb. What, you don't put cottages in a...
No, the cottage pie is beef.
So why is it called a cottage
No
pie
clue.
instead of a,
Oh,
shepherd?
people get so confused.
Don't they?
People get so confused, don't they?
I'm confused.
Yes, I mean, next time, if I try it again, I should use an actual piece of lamb and cut it up rather than some horrible greasy.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. It was probably some nasty, cheap, highly processed lamb that come from goodness knows, probably New Zealand or somewhere on the other side of the world. And
Well, this was in Texas, so God knows where it came
oh,
from.
well, there we go. It's
They
probably got chlorine all over it.
Yeah, they don't have. I don't know where they grow sheep in the USA. They probably don't.
Well, I imagine
it
if they had
doesn't-
sheep in America, the fields are so huge, you'd never find them, would you? I mean, they just wander off and you'd never see them on the prairies.
Sheep don't produce enough profit.
No. Well, you try getting them to work in a factory or something. Come on, go and do your work. Bah. No, go on, get on with it. You've got to produce 100 froggets by the end of the day. Bah. Bah.
No, I mean, I'm sure you've read about the fact that when the Second World War broke out, we slaughtered all the sheep because they're the least economic way of producing food from the land.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I mean, I know that if they could join a union, sheep would be there, because if one went out, they'd all go out.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, we slaughtered them all.
Did we? What did we do with
Yes,
them
we
once? Did we make them into pies, or was it, we didn't just sort of, Surely the
God knows
fleeces
what.
would have been useful. I mean, for the pilots, to wrap up as they're flying in their Spitfires and Hurricanes and all of that stuff.
God knows what, but shepherds had to put their dogs down because there was no food ration for dogs, and there was no work for them.
Good heavens, I didn't know that. Poor old shepherds.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well,
You don't read that in the hymns, do you? As shepherds wash their socks by night, they're shooting their dogs at the same time. It's a very...
Well, you should check out some of the old ways of raising sheep, because you were talking about having a shepherd's hut.
Yeah, I'd love a shepherd's hut. I don't want the shepherd in there. Smelly old
Speaking
geezer.
of, Station Master's Choice says, I used to make shepherd's pie. Can't get any organic shepherds at the moment, so I haven't made one lately.
Ah, yeah, that's the trouble. If you can't get inorganic ones, they're terrible.
There's no organic shepherds around.
No, that's very true. Colonel Cragratty says, in the Scouts, we used to make dampers and twisters on the campfire. Flour and water mixed, cooked on a metal plate, and they become the dampers, or twisted on a stick. Twisted. Flour and wood, did he say?
What?
Oh, flour and water.
Flour and water.
What is that? And that can't be very tasty, is it? I mean, it's like a flatbread, isn't it?
I guess so.
Well, that's what Harold. Isn't that what King Harold burned?
The cakes.
Oh, King...
Yes.
Yes.
King
That's all
that
they
was
would
King
have been.
Alfred.
Would have been
Yeah,
water.
I suppose they would.
Oh,
but
King Alfred, yeah. That would have been water and flour, that's all.
easy to burn, I imagine.
Yes.
Because there's not much, you haven't got any butter in there or anything to sort of juice it up a bit.
Oh, Flappy Goose says.
Nope.
Hang on.
Flappy Goose says the potato topping on a cottage pie is the thatched roof. So that's why they do the little.
There we go. That's it. Thatched roof potato.
Anyway, I'll leave.
Thanks for that, Flappy Goose.
I'll leave the airwaves open for somebody with something more intelligent to say than I.
You're very kind. That's very decent of you. Thank you very much. Thanks for the contribution.
Take
There we
care.
are.
Cheers.
Lovely to hear
bye.
from you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Alan Sandel getting in nice and early there. Interesting about the leg of lamb. A leg of, what was he? Chicken.
A quarter of chicken.
Quarter of chicken. You get a quarter. You'd think you'd have half of a chicken.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd actually ask you whether you want the breast. Well, yeah, they'd say breast or leg, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
That's the usual.
Breast or leg. Yeah. I mean, you don't get that when you ask for beef, though. They never say, do you want leg of the cow?
Well, they do. They say, do you want rump, sirloin, or this, that, or the other?
Or the udders? Isn't the udders the
I don't
breast?
think anybody eats the udder.
I want the udder half, please. I just want the teats. Give me it's my birthday. I want a treat. I want a plate full of teats. Just saying, you never know, they might do.
Michael White says you all have to get used to eating insects soon.
No, we won't. That's rubbish. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hello there.
Hello.
How are you?
We're very well.
FAB.
FAB!
Yay!
How's it going, FAB?
Yeah, not too bad.
Do you think, here's the thing, do you think we're going to, Michael White says we're all going to be eating insects. Everyone keeps, I keep hearing this rubbish.
More and more people are eating insects.
Well, let them eat insects.
Well, first and foremost, you need to be aware of Waring, as in Marcus Waring.
Marcus Waring?
That's the gentleman you were wanting
Oh,
to
is that
know
his
about.
name? Oh, is that Marcus Waring? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, right, fair enough. Yeah, I couldn't remember his. I would never know if you told me.
And he was also the food advisor to the film Burnt with Bradley Cooper.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad. Never heard of the film.
Very cool film.
So,
Bradley Cooper was also the guy who was in Sniper in Afghanistan.
Right. Okay. Good. Well, what about insects? Would you eat them?
If I actually had a decision, things would be a little bit different than I would have anticipated if I had that opportunity. But I would find it rather difficult to do at first. But then, if it was like frog's legs with some kind of French kind of added.
Do you eat frog's
gravy.
legs? Do you eat frog's legs?
Well, I've had frog's legs quite many years ago.
And what were they
I
like?
visited my sister in Paris when she actually lived there.
What did they taste like?
Kind of peculiar chicken, really.
Ooh. No, I don't fancy that. So, what is your worst?
But the biggest element of it is you got to think about the sauce, and the sauce is primarily the one that creates the
flavour.
Yes.
The flavour. Yeah, it's a kind of weird, isn't it? How I always get confused on this. Maybe you can help me out here, because people sort of go, "Oh yeah, you've got to cook it in a certain way, otherwise it doesn't." Hang on.
Yes.
Hang on. Wait. Wait. Let me finish. The people say you've got to cook like beef in a certain way, otherwise you don't get the full flavour and all the rest of it. So you go, okay, I'll have some beef, and then they cover it in a sauce, and you go, what have you done that for? Well, so it's got some flavour on it. You go, I thought the meat had the flavour in, but modern meat, mass-produced, has no flavour because it's not real food.
Well, that's kind of funny you should say that, really, because the food is actually basically, well,
bland,
manufactured. If you want something, mass produced, it's going to be obviously manufactured for mass production, isn't it? Surely.
So you're going to lose the real. I mean, if you've got a real cow that's been grass fed on meadow grass, not just Italian ryegrass or a monoculture of grass, you've got something that's been fed properly, or like nature would have done, and then
nature intended.
As nature intended, good old nature, and then you dispatch it humanely, and then you gobble it up. It's got flavour. But so much meat these days, because it's mass-produced and it's being given a diet of all sorts of goodness knows what in order to speed up the process and fatten it out quicker and all of that, is actually pretty bland, which is why you need all these artificial sauces on it to give it more flavour, like these barbecue sauces or whatever it might be, or HP sauce, or so that people make it.
But HP sauce is not artificial.
No. But what I'm saying is you're adding a flavour, whether it be HP sauce.
I agree with you.
To a meat that should have its own flavour to begin with, and then almost negates the point of having meat.
Well, you see, I've been very naughty tonight. I'm actually waiting for a order of a kebab to come along.
Do you know?
Which is rather naughty of me.
What's the provenance?
Tap,
What's the provenance of the kebab?
Well, the kebab is all based on any Turkish origin, isn't it? And the Ottoman Empire and all that jazz.
But when you order something online, how can you tell the provenance? Is it what is in a kebab? What's it actually made of?
Well, this is not online. This is by telephone, and this is by word of mouth. By that, I go locally, and I've got a trusted source, so I know where the meat is from.
But what is the meat? So, what animal is it? You don't hear of a kebab.
It's lamb.
It's what?
It's lamb.
So it's lamb. So it's sheep.
Yes.
It's sheep meat. Why do they have it on that funny big thing? Because that's not the sheep,
that's called
is it?
doner kebab, which is basically doner meat. It's basically en masse. It's kind of created in such a manner. It's like everyone who loves their sausages, is as good as close to how it is,
But that's not. They don't stick a sheep on a stick on a spit and have it going around and then just do that. It's all processed into some horrible gloopy thing that people come with a knife and then they slice a slither of this processed bile.
That reminds me of telling you about the when you had the young lad who was working for Richard Rogers' wife on the restaurant on the River Thames.
Oh yeah.
Who died? What's his name?
Can't remember. But going back to the meat before you go down a rabbit hole.
This in particular, because this gentleman went out to California and all the American schools to do organic. Trying to change people's mindset on schools in how to educate the children, because they would say,
but we're falling down a rabbit hole here, Fabian. I want to go back to the meat on the thing. I mean, why? I don't know.
Oliver.
Jamie Oliver. Yeah, but what this kebab meat? I mean, it's So what I'm asking you is, how do you know when you go to a kebab shop or any takeaway what the provenance? What's the quality of this lump of meat? How do you know that? You can't, can you?
Well, you don't go to a kebab shop wanting quality meat. It's the same as going to McDonald's. You don't go to a McDonald's or a KFC if you want quality meat. It's that processed stuff that you're craving, isn't it? It's a very strange thing.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
It is disgusting. Somebody's just asked me how come it's made.
Because for some strange reason he's human and
I made a mistake.
Happen.
Somebody's just asked, why is it labelled as a Wednesday show when it's Friday? It's like, okay, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. How come there's no real reason why that happened? It's not like
Get the cat and nine tails out.
Yeah, whip me.
But sometimes, isn't it interesting that the majority of people who do actually like kebabs tend to say it's actually the most healthiest form of eating.
How can it be healthy? Isn't it seeped in some oil of something? Oil of Ulay or something? What?
Well, this is where I asked Julia the question. Where would you think, like, on the cooking front, where would you think, the healthiness comes from? Because I've heard
healthiness in what?
many a time, the fattiness of kebabs to be healthier than standard fast food. Dare I say it in such a manner?
Well, hang on.
I don't know. Without knowing the processes that
they're both fast foods, aren't they? You can't compare. How can this orange be any healthier than this orange. I mean, there might be some, difference in some fast foods, but I mean, if you put a kebab up against an organic salad, which one's going to be more healthy?
Oh, there's a good point. Flappy Goose.
Of course, it's always going to be the organic salad, isn't it?
There you go.
Flappy Goose says, "I won't eat from kebab shops because it's ritual slaughter meat."
Ah, there you are. I see.
Oh no! If you want to be accurate about it, like halal meat and standard meat is two totally different meat. You're talking about halal meat. That's going to be preyed under slaughter conditions, and standard meat is slaughtered anyway. So
Hello, mate. Hello, mate.
Hi.
Hello, mate.
Yeah,
all
very
right.
funny.
How are you, mate?
Very
Hello, mate.
funny.
Anyway, listen, we better move on because we can't hog the show. But it's lovely to talk to you, Fabian, and thank you for that. And I hope you enjoy the kebab.
Anyway, listen. You take care and good evening.
You take
And
care.
you.
Enjoy.
Good night.
Love to you, lovely Julia, and good evening and good luck.
Good.
everyone.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.
Good night.
What do you have? You had kebabs? Are you a kebab person?
I have had kebabs.
I've
before.
never had a kebab. When I saw that thing dripping away on the side, I thought, ooh. I mean, I think of old England and big roasting hogs on a spit and all of that. That sort of looks more appetising because it was a pig at some point, rather than what just looks like a bit like corned beef, I suppose. Stuff that's been mashed together, shoved on a stick, and people are buying. And what do you have with a kebab? What goes with it?
You have salad in it.
Salad in it.
Onion.
Yeah,
sauces.
Can't say I've ever. I mean, I can't condemn it because I've never had it. So I suppose we better have a quick look at all the comments.
It's weird because it was called something different in when I was growing up in Saudi Arabia and in Kuwait.
Was it? What
Yeah.
was it called?
Well, what people call a kebab here is a shawarma. Was called a shawarma when I was a kid.
Shawarma.
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 I mean, maybe my memory has warped a little bit, but
We have another call. We're
I
going to
don't
get
know.
onto some videos and we're going to read the comments. Eastbourne
was
Camper
you,
says, "How come the show is listed?" Oh, we've done that.
seen that.
Hello, caller.
You seen
Bear with us 1 second. Paul Carl Griffin says, "I've never had a kebab. The meat appears to have hang around for days and is reheated many times." Absolutely. I mean, it just looks disgusting.
Michael White says, "We were eating horse in our ready meals for years. How can you be 100% sure of the provenance of anything?"
Well, exactly. There is that unless you grow it yourself. And this is, my territory again. Brian Jeffries says, "I donated my kebab to the neighbour. That was my donor kebab." But tish, thank you very much. And Conan Kugrati says, "If you put lamb and beef together in a pie, it's a shepherd in his cottage pie. Like it. Want to try that?" Hello, caller. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good evening, Richard and Julia.
Good evening.
Good evening. Who is that? Is that Mark?
No, it's Steve from
It's-
East Preston.
Steve from East
Hello.
Preston. Oh, of course. Sorry, Steve. It's lovely to hear your
Hello.
voice.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
So we're talking
Yes.
food. We're talking good and bad
Yes.
meals. What have you got
Yes.
for us?
Well, there's a couple of things. I don't tend to do really intense cooking. I have to be careful because my wife's in the other room listening to you.
Ah, yes.
I can do sort of the basic, but the trouble is if I have sort of tried to cook stuff that's been frozen, and I'm a bit reluctant that I don't want my family to end up with poisoning or being in hospital.
Right. Because it's frozen.
Yeah.
You mean
I
you
have-
haven't because you haven't heated up enough and it's still raw in the middle? Is that what
Well,
you
no,
mean?
I haven't defrosted it. you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's always tricky that.
Yes. And the other thing I had with my ex-wife many years ago, her mum and dad used to live in the countryside, so they lived off the land. And
Okay.
and I said to her, oh, and she sort of threatened me a couple of times to sort of give me, like pigeon, venison, and all that sort of thing. And I sort of anyway, one day she made this. Oh, I made a lovely stew. I said, oh yes. I said, I'll have that. So I had the stew. She said, how was the stew then? I said, oh, gorgeous it was. And she said, oh, you just eaten pheasant.
That's the thing. If you don't know what it is and it smells nice and it tastes nice and then it turns out to be tortoise or something, or whatever, whatever it is, and you go, well, that was really nice, and then they say it was actually the something of a something or other, and you go, oh my God, really? But we did live off the land, and we had rabbits, and people still do have rabbit pie.
Rabbits and wood pigeons.
And all these things, and now you just think, oh my goodness, because I'm the first to admit, I'm quite narrow-minded when it comes to food. I'm not very adventurous because some foods just don't sound very appetizing, and yet 200 years ago I'd have been happy to have eaten almost anything.
And then about 6 months later, she got me again. She'd done something similar, and I ended up having pigeon.
Oh, and what was that like? Was that sort of like an anemic chicken?
Pheasant is quite sort of
gamey,
obviously
isn't it?
brown and sort of quite strong. Pigeon is just basically, you go back to the war years. That's what you ate, didn't you?
Yeah.
So it's not really sort of unusual.
But what was it? What was it flavoursome like?
I have to admit, the pheasant had more flavour.
Right.
Obviously, there's a lot more meat on a pheasant than a pigeon.
Yeah. I guess because you could get more bones with a pigeon, couldn't you? Little tiny bones.
Yeah, she was crafty because she put it into a nice thick stew, so of course it covered it up pretty well.
Yeah, well, that would be perfectly acceptable to me, if it was in a stew and you didn't know, and then you're told. But I would find myself unable to eat it if I knew there was pigeons in it, because you just think of them as filthy animals, don't you?
You wouldn't even consider rat then.
I wouldn't eat a rat. Well,
well, if you were hungry, you would.
Well, if you were, yes. Obviously, extreme situations would yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. In the chat, they're discussing eating horse meat. Someone said, who said it? Someone asked whether horse meat was any good for us. Oh, Mark Badger said, is horse meat bad for us? Someone said, it's not bad for us, I don't think. Just a cultural thing. French eat it all the time. Maybe a reason we shouldn't touch it. Maybe. Michael White says, is it sexist to call it a doner kebab? What about Donny? Kerry Baldwin says she's eaten horse in France. Very nice. Colonel Cragrati says they eat horse meat in some countries, I believe. Probably nice meat, but in the UK we find it hard to eat horse as they are considered pets. Now, I thought it was considered bad etiquette to eat an animal that has been working for you. Either as a riding horse, as transport, or as a plough, as a tractor. So I don't know. What do you think?
Again, it's. I've been trained by life to basically think of beef, sheep, pigs, and chicken or fowl as the main. Yeah, and then you've got those odd things like fish. I'm not very happy about eating fish. I know it's a standard thing, but I can't eat fish. It makes my stomach squeal. And then anything like amphibian-y type things, seafoods and snakes and I don't. But then you see, as I say, I'm the first to admit I'm narrow-minded. It's the way I was brought up and the way I am a product of the West, and I just eat these basic meats.
We tend to now we don't eat red meat now. We tend to eat fish and chicken because I think they're more healthier. Because obviously, red meat is not too much; it's not good for you. And I think that's what we do. And I think we're slowly going sort of a bit more vegetarian now. That way. Not completely, but I think we wouldn't have done perhaps 2 or 3 years ago. But I think we're more open to a bit more what we eat. But we're trying to do away with red meat so much now.
I think that there's definitely it's a good advice not to eat too much meat, but I think red meat can be good for you if it's reared properly and not full of all the rubbish that they fill factory processed foods. But so use meat as a garnish rather than your main course. And I definitely think that having a more greener diet or a vegetable and all the pulses and all that is also good for you. Balance is the key thing. Yeah. And keeping off processed foods as much as one can, which is very difficult in this day and age.
Yeah.
Mickey Baines is asking if any of us have been to an intensive chicken farm. No, and I hope I never have to see that.
No, my friend Harriet had to sell. She was selling energy, solar panels and things, and many farmers up in Shropshire wanted her to turn up at their intensive chicken farms because they wanted to put solar panels on the roof because they're buddy long sheds with all these millions of poorly fed chickens and squashed up chicken. And I know what Mickey Baines is suggesting, and it's absolutely horrific. And if people saw that, they would never buy this. They would never buy it. But because they're presented in the way. Anyway, Harriet's a vegetarian, and she said, I'll come and meet you. Meat being the double E version, but I will not go in your chicken farm and your thing, and I will not look at it because I'm a vegetarian, and consequently she didn't get the order.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a horrific thing, Steve. All of that. But well done for trying that stuff. And did you slap your who did you say it was, your wife, your sister?
That was my ex-mother-in-law.
Your ex-mother-in-law. Yeah.
You're talking about 40 years ago now.
Right.
And you thought about getting on that way.
Yeah. Would it be strange now to have a pigeon pie? Do you think?
Well, the thing was, when I was a child, actually before that, because my mum was brought up in the war, we used to have. It sounds awful, but we used to have like liver and rabbit and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. And I mean that was.
I wouldn't eat it now. I wouldn't eat it now personally because their diet is more. We don't eat much fast food, but we tend to, as I say, we tend to keep to the chicken and the fish.
Yeah.
But not actually, not actual processed fish, but probably more. When we can do it, it's obviously more fresh fish.
Yes. Although I remember reading a thing about fish, and they said that fish, if you eat fish as a regular thing, it's better to eat farmed fish that's looked after in clean water, and than the fish that is in the wild, because you just can't control the wild environment anymore with all the crap.
Probably half full of plastic.
Yeah, it's half full of plastic and all sorts of stuff that's dumped in the sea or into the rivers. So, eating farmed fish is probably a better thing. But it all comes down to that, how intensively farmed things are, like with the battery hens that Mickey was talking about just now.
Ramaboo too says that in some parts of the US, rattlesnake is served on menus.
Well, I mean, all around the world, people eat all sorts of different things, and we're very. I mean, as I say, I'm very narrow-minded with my fish. I haven't got an open mind to it because of the way I was brought up, and if I was brought up 200 years ago, I would be open to eat all sorts of things.
It just occurred to me, there's a nursery rhyme that sings about blackbird pie.
Oh yeah,
blackbirds in a pie.
How does it go? 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. When the pie was open, birds began to sing. That was undercooked, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah, anyway,
so
Steve.
we used to eat
I'll let you
blackbirds
go,
and larks as well.
Thanks. Lovely show as usual.
Yeah, lovely show, and I'm coming to see you next week.
Yes, I won't give you any of my cooking.
No, great. No, I don't want any of that pigeon pie. Thanks very much.
No, I'll see you
a
on
nice
Monday.
cup of tea. Yeah, would be lovely. Take care, matey.
No, coffee.
Coffee. Yeah, coffee. That's just as good. Yeah.
Don't drink tea.
Yeah. No. Oh, right. Fair enough. I'll have either. I don't mind.
I know. I look forward to it.
Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Good night.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
There we are. That was Steve Mitchell from. Where is he from?
Preston.
East Preston. Yes. Thanks very much. Had a mental blank. We better show a video. Because time is ticking.
So is it going to be Bernie or Chris?
I think we'll start with Bernie because we moved him over from last week.
Good batting.
So this is Bernie at Strathpeffer, wherever that is, in Scotland somewhere, and he's looking for a train. This is part one. Okay, the new.
Signpost to the old station museum. Well, there's a lovely house up there, isn't it? A lot of them remind me of, and those of you of a certain age will know this, Dr. Finley's casebook. Oh boy, look at that. Remember Janet? Anus. How about living there? Railway here. The railway arrived in Dingwall probably around about 1860, 1862, something like that. And they wanted to press onwards to kind of Lochhouse. And at the time, Strathpeffer was being developed as a... Oh, sorry. I've just got to show you this. I don't think I've ever seen a tree like that. Again, it's a fir of some kind. But look! I mean, these kind of trees seem to be all over the place around here. They were developing Strathpeffer as a spa resort at the time, and wanted the coal line to go through here. But one of the local landowners, as was often the case in Victorian times, decided, "No way, laddie, you're no coming through." So that was it, basically. Until around about 1885, when finally permission was given. But of course by that time the West Highland, the kind of Lochhouse line had been diverted. So they allowed a branch line from the point where it had diverged and turned right down here to Strathpeffer, which came in from that end of the station and to this terminus. And that was opened in 1885. And the spa at its heyday, I suppose, was 1900s, 1910, that kind of thing, and it gradually declined. And after the war in 1946, the railway closed, and basically that was it. This building fell into some kind of disrepair, but in recent years, as you can see, has been very, very nicely restored. You see that lovely station canopy. Can you imagine coming into Strathpeffer and getting off underneath that, coming for your spa holiday and drinking what was probably the most foul tasting water you've ever had, but because it would do you good, you put up with it. Oh, here's an interesting little thing. Yeah, Sir William Mackenzie refused to allow the route to go through his property.
What a lovely old station that was. Beautiful, wonderfully restored. If only more of them were kept in that condition, it would be lovely to go touring around and spotting them. Indeed, just like Bernie did.
Bernie.
Yeah, there we are. Fantastic. Thank you
Thank you,
very much,
Bernie.
Bernie. I appreciate that. It's a place I've never heard of, never really likely to go to, and you brought it to us, which is wonderful. And did you recognise that tree? I didn't, had a clue.
No, someone else said it's a Scots pine, though.
Oh, it's a Scots pine. There we are. Pining.
Which I will agree with. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Go for it.
You're singing the Lonesome Pine again.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to get into that. No. On a mountain in
Copyright
Virginia.
strike! And
that's frozen the screen there, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's because I banged the table.
It's because you banged the table.
Because I banged the table.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know why that's happened?
What?
Do you know why that's happened?
Is that
I
because
know
you
why
banged the
that's
table?
happened. I banged the table, didn't I?
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, you
Banged
did.
the table.
Yeah. But don't worry, we're back now.
Good.
I know the shorthand out of it. No, stop. Don't do it a second time. We call it to the hour, but panic not, because we have another video which we're going to play straight away so that we don't forget it. Now, this is Chris Navard. Hello, Chris. It's good of you to send this in. A whole load of nonsense, he said. Another one of his marvellous tunes with this rather crazy character up front. And funnily enough, another train theme. So this is...
We've trained them well.
We have trained them very well. Yes.
I'll get the coat.
No, you don't have to get it. It's cold enough in here as it is. This is I Like Toy Trains. I like pressing the wrong button. That's what I like to do.
I like watching the videos.
Yeah, do you? This is Chris Navard, and I like toy trains.
Hello, you've got me playing with my model railway. It's got lots of trains on it, and this is my favourite one. This is very... Oh, I think I dropped it on the floor and broke it. Anyway, this is my favourite one anyway, even though I've only got half of it left now, because the bit on the back fell off. Anyway, I've done a little song for you, which you must enjoy. Just hang on to a moment, I'll go and get my little, tiny little baby guitar and play it to you.
I like trains, don't you know? My anorak, it smells of beer. My belly is quite frank, it looks like Thomas the Tank. Cause I like toy trains, don't you know? I like toy trains, don't you know? I have a huge model railway on the go. It lives in an attic room, one day it'll be an heirloom. Cause I like toy trains, don't you know? I like toy trains, don't you know? My firebox, it has a mighty glow. I used to have a track mat, but now I have a backpack. Cause I like toy trains, don't you know? I like toy trains, don't you know? Not had a bath since Michelangelo, but now I sell very antiques to collectors and creeps. Cause I like toy trains, don't you know? Cause I like toy trains, don't you know? Cause I like toy trains, don't you know?
Toy trains. Do you like toy trains, lovely Julia?
Don't you know?
Don't you know? I like Chris Navard's amazing models
Yes.
of his toy train,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
his
that's
toy trains
fantastic.
featuring, and he puts them on the Bald Explorer webpage. And there's
Well,
a
Facebook
group page. Yes, that's what I mean. Using words I forgot to understand what they mean. Brilliant. Love the song. What was that line? Something about
There's
his
a
willy?
naughty bit in the middle.
Naughty bit. That managed to get through the censor, but don't worry, we won't get shut down, at least I hope. But great fun. Yes, fantastic.
Lovely.
Isn't it? I was just thinking as I was sitting there looking at the toy trains behind him as he was singing, what a gift the Industrial Revolution was to modelers. All that, old-fashioned analog style technology of big wheels and pulleys and fireboxes and, things worked, clanked and whizzed and banged. Will people in the future be making toy trains of what we have today?
You said big wheels. Keep on turning, brown merry, rolling, 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 rolling on the river. What? You said big wheels.
I said big wheels, yes. What about big wheels?
It's in a song lyric.
Everything is a song lyric
Not
to you.
everything.
Yeah, the other day I was telling you I was in the garden desperately trying to break up some wood and I used a sledgehammer.
Bam, bam, bam.
We have a phone call which is saving us from this madness.
Yeah.
Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. Thank you for calling. Sledgehammer.
Down, down.
Hello there.
Hello there. Who's that there, boy?
It's Ross from Worthing.
Hello,
Hello,
Ross.
Ross.
How the devil are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And say hi to both of you.
It's very nice of you to tune in, but it's much nicer of you to give us a call.
Yeah, and thank you for the sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer.
You're welcome. Yes. I'm watching on the TV, and the phone call is before the TV, so it's sounding a bit.
Yeah, so we have a bit of a delay. Sorry about that. That's the technology
all right, but-
technology of the day. So, what have you rung up about then, Ross?
No, I just thought I'd come up and say hello, because I phoned you a few weeks ago.
You did.
If you remember, yes?
I do. Yes, I have a 20-second memory, but I do remember that bit.
Yep. So anyway, I thought I'd come up and say hello.
Have you been doing anything interesting since we last spoke?
Unfortunately, I've just been working. I've been on holiday.
Have you? Where? Let's see if we can guess where you went to. Did you go
Tenerife.
to Tenerife?
No, I didn't.
Cornwall.
Cornwall.
No.
Okay. What about Alcatraz?
Ooh, I'd like to actually go and see the place, but no, I didn't go over
Oh,
there.
didn't go there.
Isle of Skye.
Isle of Wight.
Should we just find out?
No, I've been to the Isle of Wight.
Have you?
I've been over there a couple of times camping, yes.
Very nice on the Isle of Wight, especially the sand. Do you know? I went to the Isle of Wight. Was it a couple of years ago now with the lovely Liz Housden? She took me to the Needles, and we got on a boat and we went around the little needles and things, and then we came off the boat, and there was a shop selling the multicoloured rock that you can buy on the Isle of Wight, the sand, you know, different coloured sands.
Yep, I know what you mean, yep.
And there was this cliff face with the different strata of the sands, and I thought, oh, that's obviously where they get it from. But when you bought the thing, Liz says, no, it's coloured sand manufactured in a different country and sent in, probably made in China. And they're selling this as a souvenir of the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, as if it was Isle of Wight. Sand.
Mainly because obviously they're running out of sand.
Because there's not,
But
not a lot of it there.
Well,
Really.
I mean, what we did is we actually walked right the way down to the bottom where the beach is, and we took some photographs of different coloured stones all the way up.
Yeah. And that's it. That's what I did. I mean, I made a video there, and I just filmed the colours of the colours of the sands. But yeah, I mean, you can imagine if people carried on buying it, there would be no Isle of the Wight left.
Speaking of coloured sands and rocks and stuff,
That's
apparently in Worthing on the seafront, people are picking up white rocks and putting them in a pile. There's a pile of white stones on the beach.
When you say white stone, you mean chalk?
No, just white flints. In solidarity with Ukraine or something like that.
Right. Okay.
It's not that it helps anything, but it helps people feel like they're.
Yeah, they're going to ship those flints out to them, are they?
No, I think it's more
they
about
can throw them at the Russians.
I think it's more about the thoughts, they're thinking
right.
of it. It's like laying flowers, kind of that sort of thought. Anyway.
Yeah, so anyway, where did you go on holiday, Ross?
To be honest, I actually didn't do anything on holiday. I stayed at home and got stuff done that I actually wanted to get done without having to rush around or doing anything like that.
Well, that's...
I went out for walks and stuff like this, but,
we haven't had much... We haven't had a lot of good weather, though, for being on holiday, so you probably, to get all the things, chores around the house and bits and bobs is probably the best thing you could do.
Well, yeah. Sit there, learn something rather than go out and get soaked. Yes, it
definitely.
Be a bit like that. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's true. Where would you like to go if you could go anywhere, or where haven't you been that you would love to go?
I'd love to go to America, the Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco.
Oh yeah, the Golden Gate. Is that the longest bridge, spanning bridge? I'm sure
I don't think it is now. It did used to be.
When it was built, is that what it was? The Golden Gate.
Yeah, when it was built, I think it probably was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like to go and see it, go over it. Basically, San Francisco would be lovely.
I lost my heart in San Francisco.
San Francisco.
By the way, Steve Mitchell guessed that you went to Worthing. Well done, Steve. Or rather, stayed in Worthing.
Stayed in Worthing. So you'd got lots of chores done. You had a nice holiday. And what about this on our theme tonight then? Best meal you've ever had that you've cooked yourself. What would that be?
Prawn curry.
Prawn curry. Now, I wouldn't have put prawns and curry together, but then I don't eat fish, so I can't bear prawns at the best of it. I mean, the fact that they're looking up at you as you go to put them in the mouth. I mean, it's rather. I mean, I know they're dead and everything.
Not the smaller prawns, they're usually deheaded, but yeah.
The king prawns, is it?
The king prawns are the ones where you get the whole prawn.
Yeah. Ooh, with the
prawn.
like this.
I'm talking about the tiny things. Look a lot more like shrimp.
Yeah, they can't fight back, can they? When they're small like that. Whereas the king, you'd think though the king prawns, I mean crown and scepter, they'd have a go as you go down the throat. They'd think, right, we'll have a bit of this action as we'll sort him out as he get gulped under. King prawn curry. Okay, so what was the worst thing that you've cooked?
Mutton.
Mutton.
Yeah.
What?
It's really horrible. It's really greasy. Yeah, it probably, maybe it's the way I cooked it, but it was really greasy.
What did you do with it?
I just decided I would roast it because it's a form of lamb. But I decided I'd
slam in the lamb.
Yeah, and it's just yuck, basically.
Have you had mutton?
It was cooked, yeah.
I think I have in a stew.
Right, and a mutton is very
it's
old.
Well, it's more. It's an older than 12 months sheep.
I mean, we're talking like 6 or 7 years old, like
Well, I don't know.
One that's on its last legs, and they're going, "Oh, look at that poor old thing. It's been around for nearly 25 years. We're going to have a meal out of him eventually."
I mean, as far as I know, sheep up to a year of age are called lambs, and then over that they're mutton.
Oh, I see. So that you? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought
I may
mutton,
be wrong. I often am.
No, I'm ignorant, so I know nothing. So a sheep.
Trav's Travels says mutton needs to be slowly cooked. That's probably why.
Did you cook it too quickly?
I must have done, yes, but it was absolutely horrible. I don't think I think the best way of cooking it might be boiling it.
Oh, right.
Boil stew it slowly.
Stew it slowly. He's a nice bloke, Stuart Slowly. He comes round quite a lot. But there we are. Interesting. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, Kerry Baldwin says mutton needs a long, slow cooking and can be melt in the mouth. Ooh.
You might have to give it another go.
I certainly will try again. Yes.
Yeah.
Just to be.
Because I think
on the right side.
To be fair, people should eat mutton over lamb.
Absolutely.
So that the lambs have a bit of a longer life.
Well, this is true. It's
like veal. There's the rosé veal, which means it lives longer.
Rosé, is that veal that's drunk on wine?
No.
I'll just have a little.
Because I think normal veal is from 6 months to 8 months of age, something like that.
Right.
And that is a very white meat. So I assume that it's called rosé, the older veal, because it's slightly darker, I assume.
With a red tinge. That'll be the blood, I imagine. Interesting. Yeah, so there we are. I haven't tried mutton. I might have to get some organic mutton.
Mutton's 2 years old, says Sensible Paul.
2 years. 2 years old. Well, that's better than...
Well, there you go.
Better than what I had been led to believe.
Yeah, there you go. 2 years old. It doesn't seem very long, but if you had a sheep, how long would the normal life of a sheep be?
I don't know, but I'd like to find out one day.
I don't think they live long enough nowadays to actually find out.
No, they probably
break
don't.
legs and stuff.
That's true. Trev's Travels says, slowly cooked in a stew or casserole, I made a great curry if slowly cooked. But then everything Trev does is slowly done. He's on his narrowboat, slowly cruising along, pootling along the lovely canal. Do check out Trev's Travels by Narrowboat, a beautiful... beautiful YouTube channel. Sorry, I was trying to give him a bit of advertising. Lots of lovely canal stuff. So
it's on the hour.
Oh, it's on the hour. But Ross, you're the boss. Thank you so much for calling in.
You're more than welcome. Thank you both.
Yeah.
Lovely to hear from you.
Lovely to
chat-
hear
chat
from
with
you. And look after yourself.
Yeah, I will do. Thank you. And both of you do the same, and I'll catch you again some other time.
Yes, indeed. We look forward to hearing from you again. Look after yourself. Take care, Ross.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Kerry Baldwin says lamb, hogget, and then mutton is the order.
Lamb hogget. I want a hogget. Hog all that lamb. Thanks to Ross there from East Preston. So, so lamb hogget, is that a thing?
Lamb, then hogget, then mutton.
What the hell is a hogget?
A hogget
is it like a hobbit?
Oh.
Is it like a little...
Hogget must be from 12 months to 2 years to 24 months.
Was Bilbo Baggins a hogget?
No, he was a hobbit.
Oh, what was his brother, the one of the rings?
What? They're also hobbit.
What was his name? Milo Baggins or something? The other one?
Frodo.
Frogface, as I like to call him. He didn't like it. So.
Ramaboo 2 says, mutton here in America is usually considered very old sheep and yes, has to be cooked long and slow. I don't think I have eaten it, but I have been told it has a very strong gamey taste.
Gamey taste? Tastes like snooker. Never tasted before.
It's probably the most gamey of domestic meat, I think.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I've had wildebeest, or as they call it in South Africa, wildebeest. And that was very, very gamey. You know, it was a beefy gamey.
What classes something as gamey? How do you define gamey? Is it game because
it's a wild flavour? It's a wild
because it's game
because it's eaten naturally.
Right, because it's fair game.
I don't know how an old sheep
full of buckshot
tastes more gamey though. I don't know.
Anyway, well, that's fascinating. I like the hog. What did you call it? Hogshead.
What?
Hogwash.
Hogget. Brian Jeffries says, I used to buy venison when it was cheap, but it's dear now.
I'm here all night, folks. Thanks for that. Hogget between 1 and 2 years old, says Trev's Travels.
I didn't know that. I learned something new. Thanks, Kerry and Trev.
Fantastic. There we go. Strong in flavour.
That's what gaming means. Strong in flavour.
Yes, strong in flavour. There we are. Marvellous.
I got hogget once. Pass away.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We come to the end of another week here on the Vobes Show. We will be back hopefully on Monday, all being well. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Somebody's ringing, but we're just coming to the end of the show. I have to say goodbye to that person. Just hello, caller, very quickly, because we're coming to the end of the show.
Hello there, it's Fabian again.
Yes.
Just to let you know, it's grouse, ptarmigan, rabbit, and also all other
things.
Well,
yeah. Well, sadly, we've come to the end of the show, Fabian. You.
But I really thought I would get to the hurdle and jump it and just say good night and lots of love.
Good night, lots of love to you.
Back.
Take care. There we go. That was Fabian. Sorry to cut you off, Fabian. I do apologise for that, but it is the time. And tomorrow on the Bald Explorer channel, what's in the parcel? Big reveal on that. But from us, ladies and gentlemen, here in the stewed, thanks for all the contributions. It's been very kind. Thanks to good old Judith out there moderating. Sean James Cameron for his eating all the salt, apparently. To lovely Julia for coming in and giving us that wonderful word, hogget.
I didn't give it the word. It was Kerry.
Well, you read it out. That Kerry did that.
Thank you very much to Richard for putting it all together.
To Bernie for the Strathpeffer train, and to Chris Navard for his Toy Train song, which was marvellous, and to you for typing away furiously on the keyboard, desperately trying to get our attention, and for putting your goggle eyes against the screen and watching my bald pate and her beautiful face. It's been an absolute pleasure to keep you entertained, and don't forget you can support the show at baldexplorer.com. A few pennies our way help pays for the internet and all of that. So it's left now just for me to say cheerio, old chap.
Cheerio, old chap.
And we'll see you next week. Till then,
bye for now.